Well, it didn't take long to,
Yeah.
that ended up being worse than this.
Yeah, it throws things out of whack when you have something happen. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting better, that's good.
Oh, well, yeah, I feel good, so.
That's good.
Dustin will not be here tonight.
Who?
Dustin, for the department
Oh.
heads. He has COVID, so.
Like, he's got COVID?
Yeah, we had a group that went to Pier last week for safety benefits. They got COVID while they were. Brandon, Dan, and Dustin.
How you doing, Mike?
Cindy
Hey, Ron.
had a headache on Saturday, and that was good, and she went too, so she's thinking she might be having.
What's your right, looks like you're right up to par.
I'm up, why?
I say, looks like you're right up to par, so.
Why do you say that?
Hi, Ernie. Act like you're feeling good.
I feel good. I do, I feel just fine. How about you?
I'm feeling really good,
That's good.
except I just got part of this foot to heal up, yep.
Yeah. Rest is doing well?
Hmm?
The rest, everything else is doing well? Good.
It's getting better, but it's, so, you know, it's got a pretty good sized hole to heal up, so.
Yeah.
The worst thing I've had is this knee is out. And I
Oh no,
always,
so you're trying to,
well, I always babied it before, you know, and then it was weak anyway, and then when this happened, I couldn't put any weight on this.
No, I took my stuff out.
Okay.
have a bad situation, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, no, I ain't got too much to complain about, cause I feel good, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing looks tough.
Yeah.
We should change that lock.
I'm not.
Should change that. That feels, yes, oh my gosh, I didn't know all that was there.
You said. Yep.
all these.
Safety permits and all that.
Is this essential?
This one.
That should be, unless you stayed up too late last night.
Because it's all three shots yesterday, it's non. I don't know if it was Monday tired or three shots being tired.
Better now than I was last week. Some of that stuff keeps you in the butt.
It sure does.
Got your lights on, guys?
You guys have your mics on?
Mike's on? On now.
Test, 1, 2.
Call the meeting to order and begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For those of you who are old enough, every time I say the pledge, I want to, in grade school, we sing, God bless America.
Stand beside her.
I have nothing to add or subtract for of the agenda, so I invite a message, motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as printed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes, found on pages 1 through 4. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I would invite a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second
You can have it.
to approve the minutes as printed. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public input. Does anybody got anything to talk about? It's not on the agenda.
I'm not sure if I need to address this during public input, but I have the responses for Tony. Do you want that during,
Is it part of that residency?
it's not just the residency part, it's of all the questions that you ask.
Okay.
Should I do it during public input? Okay,
Residency one you can probably leave if you want to for down below on number 3.
oh, the very last, okay. So I'd like to address the questions and comments from Tony Rangel at the last week's city council meeting. Tony, you stated that you were hearing rumors regarding the new city police chief and you wanted the council to investigate and report back to you. You stated that you've heard he would be renting an apartment and spending time with family out of town on his days off. You stated you believed that there was a policy addressing this. You stated you did not feel that this was appropriate, and you believe this individual should purchase a home, pay taxes in the city, and that, quote, renting is not being part of the community, end quote. You stated you knew he was offered a home at a reasonable price. You stated these rumors under the guise of wanting to do rumor control, and then proceeded to interject opinions on these rumors. First, I would like to state that it is not, or nor has it ever been, the agenda of the city council to address rumors about any citizen of the city, nor is it appropriate that any citizen should feel it is acceptable to bring forth rumors regarding another citizen before a public forum and inject their opinion on said matters. This type of criticizing and judgment, again, at a public forum is inappropriate and does not reflect what the character of this city is. As Tony's comments from last week were intended to be public record, my response is intended to address anyone wanting to repeat the same behavior going forward. In the future, rumors and criticizing citizens by anyone will not be addressed nor supported. The underlying commentary regarding renting status and activities on days on days off are juvenile in nature and are only being addressed as to ensure the public recognizes that the city council is not in the business of dictating the lives of citizens of Miller. To the comments regarding renting, not buying, paying taxes, the city does not have any policy relating to the status of renting or buying a home for any of its employees. It is not in purview to judge anyone's financial situation, living preference, or thought process on the matter. To my knowledge, we have city employees that choose to rent or even live in St. Lawrence or Heights, and this is viewed as perfectly acceptable. Landlords pay taxes from said rent. Renters pay city utilities. People living in St. Lawrence and Heights or Miller buy food, gas, and spend money in the community, paying taxes just as any homeowner does. To note, the new police chief stated he has not been approached by anyone to purchase a home, as stated by Tony. He was approached by a citizen asking if he would like to rent a home that they own. To the comments of what any city employee does on their days off, the city does not have any policy relating to the ongoing of any of its employees on their days off. It is not our purview to judge anyone's personal interest on their days off. Many people travel all over the state. They have activities, children's events, recreation, visiting family, and it is viewed as perfectly acceptable. To attempt to restrict someone's movements on their days off would be asinine. The real question at hand here is the living situation of the new police chief. I believe we'll get into that later when you're gonna read the requirements for the residency. And after that is read, I think we will find that as the police chief plans to reside in Miller, he does meet these requirements.
I did state that was my opinion.
Is there anything else from
And
public?
the resident requirement is a very valid thing. If you read it at all.
I did.
Yeah, after I initiated the fact.
Do you wanna come up here to the mic, Tony?
After I initiated the fact that each one of you should get a copy of that, I put it in writing to Shayla's office, because it came, in my opinion, when you guys, and I don't know for a fact, because it was an executive session, but I don't even know if you even talked to him about the residency requirement. Did you?
This is not a discussion anymore, Tony. We do not need to discuss what has already been decided by the city council.
You don't think so? Okay. You're gonna answer the residency requirement though, aren't you? Or did you read it? Read it thoroughly.
I did.
Did you understand it?
Is there anything else? If not, we'll go on to the department heads. Anybody got any questions for the department heads?
I have something.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, gosh, you have to say more important.
This is on a happier note.
Okay.
The kids were so appreciative of their thing for daycare that they colored pictures for me all.
Aw.
How
Yeah,
nice.
They were very happy and very appreciative. The staff, everybody, parents, thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
That's
You
nice.
guys.
Betcha.
Thank you.
I was,
Is there anything else?
department heads, Ron?
I just was gonna bring up the cost of, my committee wanted me to build a couple gravel areas for campers. I did two, one was like 50 feet, the other one was like 81 or 85 feet. Reason they're two different ones, there's trees in some areas and open areas where the bigger campers are, so I did two to kind of get an average. If you guys are interested, I might try to do some more of them yet this year if our weather will let me. Don't sound real good, but
End of the week.
Doesn't sound good.
it's up to you guys to, you know, if you guys want me to do a few more, I will. I honestly think it'll be a good deal. It's gonna take a while to do them all, but I have gravel on hand right now.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
I think it'd be good, in sometime this
sounds-
week before the next meeting, I'd like to get with you and Terry and go through a couple ideas too, and just see what your guys' input are with regard to that, if you don't mind. Okay?
Sounds good.
I was gonna ask you too, did the bathhouse down at the park, is that, open yet, or?
It's gonna be closed this week because they're talking two above for a low, and that's concrete, no insulation, so.
Okay,
It's kinda whenever Terry's guys can get to it. I guess tomorrow or maybe the next day after that, it's.
Yeah, I showed 5 below for a low on Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I
And
saw,
somebody
too.
said next week it's below zero.
Yep.
And that's probably.
For about 4 days.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
so, we kept it open a little longer than we have in the past, but we've had pretty good weather
Weather.
up until.
Yeah.
So,
That's nice though.
Okay.
Anything else for the department heads?
I noticed you're, cutting down the trees, and some of those trees that you're hauling out look like they need to be, cut down too. Is there any particular areas where those trees are being cut down?
it's just like if somebody had a complaint, like one was a split tree, they noticed it was, every time it would blow, it kind of open up. You didn't really see it until it was pointed out, so that was this right over here.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow I'm gonna go get the grinder and grind the stumps, because I wanna get them ground before they get covered in snow, because you can't find them. Even if you know they're there, you can't find them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to get them all ground, and, we'll have more trees every year. We have
Oh, yeah.
probably 30 trees, but.
And then I'm just gonna make another comment. I know I noticed I drove by one of the sites you guys are working on, and I just appreciate when I see departments working together for a common cause. I really do. I think that's, that's a tribute to you guys too, and then also, serving the community well too. So, thank you for that.
Terry, did you find the water line tonight?
We lost one.
I don't have any idea where that was. I don't remember when they did it, but Is there anything else? Okay, if not, we'll go on to unfinished business. We have one thing there, and that's the second reading of ordinance number 735, the budget supplement. Found on page 18. Ordinance number 735. Be it ordained by the city of Millis, the following sum is supplementary appropriated to meet the obligations of the municipality. First thing is the general fund was supplemented for $61,625, and that's from the Civil Defense Flood Study. And that was a FEMA grant. Gross, the community center, $8,000 from grocery seats, and $10,000 from sales tax. Capital improvement is supplements the airport project for $16,213.39. And that's from federal grants and state grants. So we'll have to vote, this is the second reading, so we'll have to vote. I need a motion.
I
To-
move that we approve ordinance number 735.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 35, and we're gonna vote by roll call. And I'll start out with Alderwoman Harkins.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lexi.
Aye.
Alderman Wentz.
Aye.
Alderman Odegaard.
Aye.
Alderman Zello.
Aye.
Alderman McGowan.
Aye.
Seeing we have 6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries by unanimous ballot. Motion carried. Okay, we're gonna go right down the list here from now on with new business. Number 1, water wastewater project SPN invoices phase 3. Invoices 27186, 27187, 27197, okay. For a total of $47,958.79. We'll have to do each one of these separate, right? So, okay, that's the first one on there. So we'll have to have a motion for that.
I'll make a motion, we pay SBN Phase 3 for a total of $47,958.79.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we need a
I'll
second?
second.
We have a motion and a second to pay invoices 27186, 27187, 27196, and 27197 for a total of $47,958 to SPM for phase 3. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Okay, the next one is TLC Olson Construction LLC. Payment number 19 is for $285,883.78 and is found on page 21. I'll entertain a motion to either pay or reject this pay request, 19.
I'll make a motion that we pay TLC Olson, number 19, $285,883.78.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carries. The next one is change order number 6, found on page 22. This is a reduction of $122,910.
Then I think we should probably approve it. I move that we approve, change order number 6.
I'll second it. She made a motion, we approve the change order.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this change order. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Number 2, water and sewer phase 4 options, and they're found on pages 23.
And these options are just for your review at this point, probably at the next meeting, if we have an RD funding packet yet, or as soon as we get the RD funding, they need to know for DANR if we're gonna go forward or not. They have to have an answer, because they have a lot of money waiting on this, so. But we're waiting for RD funding to see if option B is a possibility or not. But they wanted you to be aware of what our options are at this point in time.
Do we need to go through each of the options, or is, with regard to A, B, and C, with regard to the possibilities, or do we just wait on that? I wouldn't mind reading through for the record, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if we keep with option A, is that the original option? Okay, the original option raised, this is what it raised rates, $7.15 for water and $3.70 for sewer. And the funding is inadequate due to the cost increase and additional 2 blocks of water main that were identified. So that if we moved with that, that would be the increase from water and sewer. Am I correct on that? Okay. Option B, supplement DANR funding with the rural development funding. The city has approved seeking the additional funding, but this has not been completed. This whole fully funding this would fully fund the entire expected costs. The reduction in the use rates increase is unknown until the funding package is offered. It is likely that there will be a similar rate increase as option A. So keep that in mind. Option C is to reduce the scope of the work. For the sake of discussion, the following scope of work was assumed. Wastewater, it talked about the Donlin Street improvements of $1,103,000. Water, the abandoned wells, $58,900. The water storage improvements of $226,300. And this is East 3rd Avenue Loop, of $451,600, which is a total of $736,800. I just read through the last three paragraphs if I can. DANR said that the scope could be reduced like this, and the current grant percentages would remain the same, assuming the user rate options in A is in proportionate to the change in the loan amount. The potential user rate increase would be $1.32 for water and $3.70 for sewer. Okay, now my question is that would that be the new rate, or would that be in addition to those rates already in A?
That would be by reducing it and having the same grant percentage, because right now the water is given a 65% grant and the sewer is given a 25% grant.
Okay, all right.
So if we take out basically the bulk of the water and just do these few things, it would bring it down on the water side.
Okay, all right, thank you. The exact layout and location of the Donlin Street sanitary sewer improvement was discussed, since there are some different opinions on what exactly should be done with the sewer project. If the city desires to provide sewer services to the entire potential development area northeast of the school, then the planned layout is desired. If there is a deviation from this desire, then we can look at other options. Now, those other options may not have service to that area, may or may not.
Yeah, I don't think that the options went all the way up to the new
Okay.
development. They
All right, so.
stopped a little short.
And I think the reason I go through this is because I think we all want the same thing, as being transparent and being new on the council with regard to this. I just want to bring myself up to speed with regard to, the options moving forward, so I, have a complete understanding, and anybody else who is out there is interested has an understanding too as well, okay? And I desire any input from anybody with regard to this. The city's desired scope of work for the water project should be selected. There are some components of the funding project that may be considered more important than others. Option C attempted to select the most important ones, but there are other options, other opinions about this. For example, there are some sections of water main replacement that could be included due to various issues. So those are some of the, decisions we're gonna have to make with regard to moving forward with Phase 4. Did I miss anything?
That's good.
I don't think so.
Okay.
What would be the savings? Option C is $1.1 million. And that's to go ahead and go with the addition for what economic development is doing out there, plus the 3 homes or 3 lots that are just east of it. So if you don't do that, what would the cost be? It's my understanding from years ago that does not have to be done out there. Their sewer system and everything out in that area is fine for the Donlin addition, it's just not deep enough right now. So what would be the difference in savings if you didn't do that? I don't know, that's why.
See, I think that's, and I don't know if we know the answer as of yet with regard to the information. Maybe we don't have the information as of now, to answer that. I guess, so.
Well, I mean, would that be part of option C, that I'm not proceeding with that $1.1 million and cutting that lower sewer system going out to the development? Would that raise the rates then? In option C, I don't think there was anything in option C that said anything about rates over it.
It didn't. No, it did not.
Is option C just the 1.1, or is it the 1.1 plus the 736?
It would be both, I would
It would
think.
be both?
Yeah.
So like 1.8?
Because the Donlin Street improvements looks to me like it's 1.1 million, and if you add these other ones up down below, it's gotta be the 736, so,
Okay, I just wanna make sure I'm explaining
Yeah.
it correctly.
right.
Okay.
I
So it
would
would
say
be
that they're
both.
both together, that you would have to take and add those two together.
Okay, thank you.
This is a map of our phase 4. All this blue is water lines that are set to be replaced. And then way down here is the looping that he's talking about, so that there's no dead ends. Am I right, Terry?
Where all your bacteria grows is in dead end mains.
So that's the water, and basically option C is pretty much cutting out the water. It's just doing the wells and the towers and the ground storage. This spot right here with the red is the sanitary sewer. That's the $1.1 million over here. Just for a visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could put all of our other,
And that's the asbestos lines, is that right?
That's what the blue ones are.
The blue ones are asbestos lines, thank you.
If I talk out of turn, let me know, but I wanna, one of the things when, Terry and Boney, replaced the water meters, we've been losing a lot of water, and some of those old water meters weren't keeping up to snuff, and some people found after the new water meters, were put in, that they were paying a little bit more because now they're, functioning properly. I believe it was last council meeting, we approved the new electric meters going in too. Now, having said that, some of the older electric meters that are metering the amount of electricity homes are paying for, you know, that too may not be an accurate indication. So for some homes, I'm not saying they will, but some could find themselves a little bit higher adjustment in some of the electricity that is being metered. So I want to make sure that's out there with regard to that. And then if we move ahead with say phase 4, then the additional surcharges, you know, with regard to that some homes may be incurring. So I just want everybody to kind of be aware of those things as we move forward with you know, our options with regard to phase 4. Okay? And again, this is for my information too, so I can make you know, a good indication, as we all do. But you know, you guys are a little bit ahead of the ball game because of maybe some background information that I'm not wasn't, you know, aware of. So anyway.
Here.
Now, don't go comparing your coloring skills to those.
You just said that.
Is there anything else for wastewater phase 4 options? If not, we'll go on to number 3, which is residency requirement. That's found on page 24. And I'll read it. It's found in the employee policy manual. 4.12. Residency within the municipality or a distance in which the employee can reach the municipality within 10 minutes shall be a condition of employment for all employees. An applicant, however, shall not be discriminated against because of non-residency in the municipality and shall be given a reasonable amount of time not to exceed 6 months if hired to establish residency within the municipality. Seasonal employees are exempt.
He just read what was online.
Now, is the question with this, what was addressed in the beginning here on the,
Did you have more to add to that, Tammy?
Nope, I was just gonna read that policy.
Okay.
Can I
But-
say something? I
okay,
didn't
yeah.
mean to imply
Yeah.
that I was trying to tell the future police chief what he does on his days off. What he does on his days off is all fine and dandy with me, I don't care what he does. So for you to say that I said that is not correct. I was not trying to tell him what to do on his days off. I was just saying, because the fact that when I heard, and that's why I asked you, I said, this is all rumors. I'd like to just know if it's rumors or what it is. And thank you for answering some of those things. But I didn't put it out there that I hate anybody that rents an apartment or whatever they do in here. That's not up to me, but that was my own personal opinion. I felt that they should, to be a resident of the community, it'd be nice if they paid taxes and stuff.
They
That
do
was
pay
my own-
taxes.
Yeah, that was my own personal feelings, okay? That wasn't implying to try to tell the council what to do and how to do it. I'm not gonna do that. But question on the residency, this was put in evidently years ago, long before I got on the council, for a reason. That was for evidently a safety reason. They wanted people to be here in case something came up, they could respond within a 10-minute time frame. I know that we told Cindy when we hired her, we brought out the residency requirement. She had to be within 10 minutes, which it is. That Dave was hired under that. I'm assuming that's what they put this policy in, was when Dave was hired. Okay. All I want is, he's gonna be here, is he gonna be here if something comes up? And say, two of the officers get sick, one's on vacation, is he gonna be within a reasonable time? If he's at home, he went home on his day off or whatever.
His main residence will be in Miller.
Pardon?
His main residence will be in Miller.
Okay, that's the questions I was asking.
Yep.
You know, I wasn't trying to be facetious with anybody, I wasn't trying to tell you what to do, by no means. That's why I said, next week, if you would answer my questions for me, I'd appreciate it. I wasn't demanding of anything, I just said, these are the rumors I heard. You answered
And
the
that's,
question.
that's why we addressed it the way we did.
I had nothing against him renting an apartment or whatever. That was my personal feelings, that I just felt everybody that comes into the community, like I did 35 years ago, I moved over to be part of the community. In my opinion, being part of the community was owning property and everything else. I'm not against renters. I don't care if you rent your property. But what bothered me was this residency requirement coming in and being available within 10 minutes of coming to work if something major happens.
Right, and I think that, for one thing, none of us can predict when something's
Oh, we
gonna
don't know,
happen. I mean,
exactly.
Terry could be in Rapid and when something big goes down. And you know, with anything, I think you have a backup plan,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, this says 10 minutes for, and I'm sure it was all brought in for the safety requirement in case something did happen and they had to bring somebody else in. They wanted them to be here and be available.
And I think that's where the communication thing comes in within the departments, not just the police department, but all departments, so that they know if they have to get other,
And I
people
brought
lined
it
up.
up because I didn't know if the council was aware of it. I think Joe was, and maybe Jim were aware of the residency requirements. I didn't know if you guys were or not.
We had discussed that at length when we hired Dave and Cindy both. And we, at that time, decided it was not 10 minutes. You can't get from Ree Heights to here in 10 minutes without speeding. But we waived that few minutes extra it was gonna take.
It's gonna take more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're not gonna make it in
You
10
can't
minutes.
hold a strict 10-minute rule on this.
In defense to Dave, he owns a house in Miller and he stays there.
It does?
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
like I said, we waived it years ago when we hired him.
Well, you
So if
know-
it takes 15 minutes, you know.
You know more about Dave than I would, because you've been here longer. But he answered my questions, that's why I asked him. and I'm happy with your answers. So,
Okay, thank
that's
you.
it.
And I think you're right, the reason, if I remember correctly, I think the reason it was modified from not being in Miller is when we did have an opportunity to hire Dave and realizing that he'd be a valued employee. I'd like to interject, I know when I first came to Miller, and I know whenever you hire or don't hire somebody, there's people out there that are okay with it and some people are not okay with it. When I came here, I was not the first choice. I was a second choice. And there was another person out there, I'm not gonna say is more or less qualified, but, anyway, having said that, the one thing I do remember when the decision was made, and this happened, we're back when, I think Terry was a junior, and Ron, you might have, and I don't know what grade you were in, freshman. I remember coming to Miller and knowing a few people at the school, but one of the first people who reached out was Bob Logger. And I'll never forget that. That made me real feel good. It made me even feel that much better because Bob knew one of the other candidates who was also vying for the job. And I think certain things happen during our lifetime that are a memorable moment. And for me, when I first came here and the relationship that I was able to form with Bob right away, that was and still is very memorable. Okay, now with that, anybody moving to town with regard to whatever position it is, and you just hope the same courtesy is bestowed upon them too as well. That's what we're about. I think that's what any community like ours is about. So, okay. But I've been on both sides. I remember having an opportunity to move up in a position, and I was overlooked by somebody on the outside coming in, and that's sometimes that's just the way it is and stuff. So, anyway, I'm finished.
Well, I think this residency requirement needs to be changed or something, because we're completely out of compliance with it, what it says here. It says, within 10 minutes shall be the condition of employment for all employees.
Well, I thought
I
about.
don't say that that's right.
Yeah. The thing of it is, if you're renting here, for the most part, you're gonna be here. Now, there might be times where you're not gonna be here. That's whether or not you're renting or even you're residing. And I think, it's just like anything else, if Steve has a situation with regard to it and there's an opportunity for him being out of town, no, something's happened, so I'm gonna stick around town because of certain things, and I think that's with it. And I also think, I thought about this, and I do appreciate opportunities to answer questions. I really do, and I think about this too. If I was asked to buy a house right now, I don't know if I would buy a house with the interest rates, and all due respect to realtors, I don't know if I would. And then also, we have a probationary period for 6 months. You hope in that 6 months that it works out, but, Ted might say that, this is not quite what I thought it would be, or whatever. So you hope that doesn't happen. But and also, is there a house here that really fits my needs and my family's needs?
Exactly.
So I think even though, it says that, and I think we're in compliance with that, I would say if that residency was not in Miller, renting or buying, then I think that would be if they're renting wherever, outside, over in Highmore. Now, okay, now we have an issue. If they're renting in Miller, we're gonna buy in Miller, then I think that's, Mr. Mayor, I think, we're in compliance with it. It's just that, with our policy. That's just my thought.
But I think your department heads have made contingency plans, whether they're gonna be gone or not
Yeah.
gone. Somebody's gonna back them up if they're not here, regardless whether they're here for the weekend or not. Your department heads have made them plans
Yeah.
to back up whomever's not here, whether it's Terry or Ron, Jim Henson. They've got them plans in place, whether you guys know it or not. Somebody's gonna be around.
I'm
Yes.
sure that.
Whether they live in a camper at the park, whether they live in a rental or own a home, they've made them plans.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's this council's decision to decide whether you're gonna rent or own a property.
It's not.
I think that's great.
That's why I
Yeah.
said that was my.
In
first-
asinine, to even ask that question.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, you guys did an interview process, you've gone through that in your interview, move on.
They don't let us live in the park anymore.
Yeah, they can't live in the park. Oh, they can yet, we haven't changed it.
There's no bathroom named at the end of the week, that's kind of important for me.
Yeah, no shower.
You know, in that,
You gotta trust your employees, you gotta hire, they know better.
well, and that's it. I think, but I do, I don't care if you call it a rumor, I don't care. If certain people are in rest with regard to something, approach us, because I think we want to be as open and honest and transparent as we possibly can be. I think that's what we're about. If we're not, we begin gradually losing our credibility, if not abruptly losing our credibility, and that's the
You shouldn't
last,
use the word rumor. The rumor's not credible, it's not, don't bring.
well, that's true.
Yeah.
You shouldn't use rumor.
Yeah,
Rumor's not a topic,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, okay.
But there's always contingency plans, but something could always come up and ruin your contingency plan. too.
Oh, I have plans ruined every day, that's no problem.
That's what I'm saying.
But you gotta trust your staff that they've taken
I
care of.
don't agree with the 10-minute thing either. That's not enough time. But the 6-month thing is covered in here.
I mean, 10 minutes is quite a requirement, or fire an ambulance, we respond a hell of a lot quicker than that, but that's a different case. That's-
Right.
But just for clarification, you have 6 months to become, to get your residency here. You can rent or buy,
Yes.
Not at the park.
not at the park.
3 days,
Well, you can say 3 days, right?
4 days. Move it around.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
Well, I don't care about it as long as he's been in compliance with this 6 months.
Yeah.
Running.
Well, he's renting right away. Am I right? He's.
Well, we talked to him about that too when we interviewed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Yes,
Well, I know you couldn't answer some of it was an executive session.
Right.
I
Correct.
knew that.
but we did call him and verify after the last meeting to verify that,
Okay.
what his plans were. And he also said he would be happy to address anyone's questions once he's here. He's very transparent, and
Well,
he
I'm
wants
not-
people
I'm
to
not
ask questions.
Saying that he shouldn't be hired, but as long as he's in
He is hired.
compliance with good running, because you're not always gonna hire somebody that's gonna buy a house.
Right.
Nobody implied that he was not.
I just want to make sure that we're,
correct.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't be hired or
Right,
whatever.
it's okay.
So is that something the council should look at about the employee policy manual? On what that residency requirement says?
Well,
That you have to live within 10 minutes,
Well, like Jim said, you can't even get here from Bree Heights to here in 10 minutes.
I mean, we knew that when we hired Dave and Cindy, both of them.
And if
You're
it's an
not gonna-
emergency, I bet you could get here in 10 minutes.
If you don't plan on having Coleman on the highway.
you know,
Police officer nearby.
with the strict rule of the ordinance, it probably should be modified to give them an additional 2-3 minutes
Or even
with
15,
regard to
then make
that.
it 15
and
minutes.
You can
couldn't
make-
it just say a reasonable amount of time?
Well, then,
What's
the-
You're reasonable and her reasonable and his reasonable are probably all different.
I think there's gotta be a specific time.
You know, if the roads aren't icy, if it's not foggy, 60 miles an hour is a mile a minute. It's 12 miles from Bree Heights to Miller. If you're doing 65, you can be here in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If you don't encounter traffic.
But-
And if you're dressed and ready.
And they don't live right on the highway either, though. They
Truthfully,
live south of the highway quite a ways, so there's an extra mile or two to.
Actually,
Yeah.
if it gets right to it, if it gets right to it, Dave lives right on our whole.
What's that,
Highway
Terry?
14. He can shoot straight across.
Is that
Yeah.
driving?
That, right.
If it's dry.
I don't have a problem with
Could
the
we- we could do
ordinance
that.
reads where we just kinda,
Has he?
Worst case scenario, Terry's probably got the worst one, if somebody's got a water main break, something's gotta be shut off. Terry, how long does it take for an emergency locate?
2 hours.
4 hours.
There you go. I mean,
4 hours.
And right now,
I'm just saying, to dig and get to work, it's 4 hours. And that's just
The thing
peace
of the 10-minute thing is, even in the medical field, like if you have your doctors on call, you have some that live in Highmore, some that live in Wessington, theirs is 20 minutes.
Well, maybe as we move forward, we should look at if we wanna modify the 10 minutes. I mean, we can move on from this, you know, but.
Definitely something needs
Yeah, we
revisit.
can, something to look at.
Yeah.
Okay,
And actually, the 10 minutes wouldn't apply to the new chief of police because he's living in town.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and there's never been a problem with our Rehites or St. Lawrence or anybody.
Never-
But like
never
I
had
said, to be in
concern.
compliance, you
Yep.
should have it set up right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to number 4, which is first reading of ordinance number 736, found on page 25. Ordinance number 736. Be it ordained by the city of Miller that the following sum of supplementary appropriated to meet the obligations of the municipality. General fund is $132,000. And that's funded from the sale of a 2017 John Deere loader. I'd entertain a motion to either approve or reject resolution number 736. Now, this is a first reading, we don't have to vote
Right.
this time.
Yeah, that's just the first reading, so we're fine.
So I'd entertain a motion to either approve or reject.
We don't even need
We don't
that.
even have to do that, do we?
Nope.
So can I,
Ask a
so,
question? Yeah.
yes, the general fund, we took that out of the general fund of 132,000.
The whole thing started last year, I was supposed to have the new loader by middle of November.
Okay,
There were 2 switches that were not being produced, and I took delivery in March. I had it budgeted last year to pay for it.
okay,
We sold the loader, got the money last year in December or something like that. The micro switches, there was 2 micro switches, one for the front end of the loader and one for the rear end of the loader. The seat, mind you, one of them, I guess, was one. So rear end on that one, I guess, but anyway, and we took delivery in March, we were supposed to have it last November.
okay.
We cut a check, we waited, and they kept saying next week, well, next week became next March, not next week. And Emily, the auditor, said you can't do that. So that's why, I mean, the money's there, it's just
Yeah,
not in there this year.
it's just a formality for audit purposes because it crossed years, basically.
All right,
We owned the loader for 5 years and we sold it for 9,000 less than we paid for it, which is unheard of.
Good timing.
Unheard of.
Good.
so I guess what I'm, just for clarification, for my purposes, the two dollar amounts are the same simply because it was,
That's how much money we received for the loader for the 2017. We bought the new one for what, 160?
161 or 3.
Something like that, I can't remember for sure, so.
okay,
We can't supplement the full amount with the John Deere
Okay,
loader, just the
gotcha.
amount that's,
Because we had that money in the
last year's budget
last
was.
year budget
Right.
to pay for it, and like I say, the delivery was too late.
okay,
So,
right. Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I want to ask a question. Dustin has COVID, so he's not been able to be in, but we're okay as far as everything's covered in the electrical department that needs to be covered.
I helped Devin a little bit today, and he helped me back this afternoon to cut the rest of the trees, so. We've always been that, you know, somebody's gone,
Yeah,
Brandon's gone, if Terry needs help, we're around to help.
but I do know those certain things that only electrician can do with regard to something
That's when I
that,
let Dave do that.
There's an agreement with, Dakota.
see, that's what I wanted, that's what I wanted to hear. And that's the next question I was gonna ask.
We're not gonna do anything we're not
Yeah,
supposed
no, I know
to
you
do.
aren't.
If it's an emergency
I don't
thing,
wanna-
Dakota Energy will be here.
That
I
sounds,
don't wanna
that's,
be there to see it happen.
that's what I wanted,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to get.
And we don't
Thanks,
wanna
Terry.
hear it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. That's dangerous.
I have a conscience, kinda kicks my butt.
That's all right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on with the next thing on the agenda is first reading of 730, of ordinance 737, 2023 appropriations. Ordinance number 737, 2023 appropriation ordinance. Total means of finance, this is a list of the income, is $2,213,412 in the general fund, $45,025 in gross receipt tax, and $50,000 in the capital improvements. Governmental funds. The total government is $228,930. And that's expense of the governmental funds. Total public safety expenses is $428,957. Total public works, $1,232,320,000 and $50,000 in capital improvements. Health and welfare, $6,250. Total culture and recreation, $222,055, and the gross receipt tax is $9,000. Conservation and development is a total of $94,900, and from the growth, that's from the general fund, and from the gross receipt taxes is $36,000. Total appropriation for 2000.
Oops, 23. I see a typo.
That should be 2023. It's $2,213,412 from the general fund, $45,000 from the gross receipt tax, and $50,000 for capital improvements. For monetary and fiduciary funds is $685,000 for the water fund. Electrical fund is $2,131,500, and the sewer fund is $2,231,300. Less, that's the revenue. Now the expenses is $771,350 for the water fund, $2,622,960 for the electric fund, $2,197,200 for the sewer fund. and that's the budget. Let's see, this is a first reading.
Yep,
Well, that's first reading, so we don't have to vote on it. So, we'll go on to water and sewer base fees. 27, found out page 27. Ordinance number 738, an ordinance amending section 28 and 38 through 27 of the ordinances of the city of Miller, South Dakota. Be it ordained by the city of Miller, South Dakota, that section 2837 is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 28-27, fees and charges. All water and wastewater sewer charges and base fees will be assessed monthly to all properties in the event that the water is shut off for a limited time. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect so as to commence and include all water and sewer billings for January 23rd usage. And this is the first reading.
and the only change on that is that we added the base fees. The surcharges have always been on the monthly, but,
Okay, that was gonna be my question. That's why it's highlighted, okay?
yep, just the base fees for water and sewer.
Okay.
Okay, number 7. Reading of ordinance number 739. Found on page 29.
28.
28? 28?
28
28 and 29, yeah.
28 and 29, yeah. Too many pages with all those extra. To keep you guys up to date on the revenues and expenses. This is the only change.
Right there.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 739, an ordinance for the purpose of amending the revised ordinance of the city of Miller, South Dakota, number 723, to provide for amending the water rate to be charged by the Miller Municipal Water System. Be it ordained by the common city council of the city of Miller, South Dakota, that the city fee schedule listing water rates shall be amended as follows. The rate to be charged customers be amended as follows. Now,
The only change on this,
it's gonna be raised to $4.25 per 1,000 gallons, right?
it was $4 per 1,000, now it's four and a
It's going
quarter.
from 4 to 4 1/4.
So it's actual 25 cents per 1,000 gallons. I think probably the average usage is, Terry, is about 3,000 gallons.
What's that?
Average residential usage is around 3,000,
Yeah.
so 75 cents a month or so per person.
Well,
800, but residents, I mean, that's residential. Obviously, if you water your lawn in the summertime, it's gonna be a lot more than that.
I Pam had a stupid question, why does, it says the residential rate up here, 425, blah, blah, blah. And then down here, it says residential rate, no base fee. Why does it say that?
I don't know what that is. Terry, what is that? That's a certain user, and I don't know what it is.
That's it.
Let's go from $4 per thousand to 4 1/4.
Right, but why does it say no base fee?
I don't know, I didn't write this.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's anybody in that no base fee, but it's been there for years.
Because aren't we charging everybody a base fee?
Yeah.
Well, there's a base fee plus so much a thousand.
I wonder if that's a second meter. That's probably it. Like if somebody has multiple meters,
No.
there's no base fee on their second meter if they're tied together.
Oh.
Cause we have some multiple meters, right?
No, it's,
Something.
Would that,
we're adding the base fees.
Okay.
If they're added together,
Over the winter.
You only pay one base fee.
That's what it was.
yeah, if they're added together. But if they're two separate buildings or whatever, they're not added together,
There's 2 services.
yeah.
Some of them might have one service, but they're split off to 2 different places, you know? So, like, somebody might have a water hydrant on a garden like Casey Schultz had. It was separate from his house, so. They added, it was turned on during the summer and they added the meters together.
I think the house we had, I think the house we lived in had 2 meters at one time, because she used to have it like an apartment down in the basement. And then that way she could keep track of what they were using for water. But it's not there anymore.
Is there a base amount of water that comes with the base fee? Like you get base fee, the first 100 gallons?
No.
It's every gallon. Okay.
Some places will do that, they'll up their base fee for the first 1,000 gallons. And I don't know, like with our DA and our funding, that's how they do our base fee, is basically the first 1,000 gallons added to it. So when they say our base fee is $24, it's not, it's $28.25 for our base fee, because they would say for funding purposes, that's where our base fee is at. They do it a little different for the funding agencies, but
So you have a minimum of 1,000 gallons? If you don't use 1,000 gallons, you still get charged for 1,000 gallons?
I don't know. I
I only
don't
use
think so.
I've never used over 600 gallons, ever.
Yeah, I don't think so.
okay, do I get prorated?
Yeah, you get prorated, it's $4.25 per,
I get
yeah,
like $1, like $2.12,
yeah.
500 gallons or whatever.
I would
I mean,
think
I
like
don't know,
once
it's
you're,
hard.
you probably don't get charged for the 1,000 that's going up to the 1,000, but what happens is like for your next month, you'll be
That's-
over 1,000 on your meter. So you'd
I'll have to
probably
look
get
at your
charged
bill.
on the 1,000 then.
Look into that, tell me, I
I think that's how it happens with North Dakota.
look me up if you want.
Kayla, I know it doesn't amount to much, but why the 25 cents? Is it to keep up with North Dakota's raises?
Exactly. That is exactly what we were doing there.
It's getting more expensive for everybody
Yeah,
with the
that's-
fuel and everything, so they've all gotta go up.
and I think that happened in one of the first meetings I was at, and we wanna push it to January, so it's not that huge impact, yes.
We can keep going on if you want to. I was just gonna check Jen's bill here to see.
Okay, are we done with number 7 then?
Yes.
We'll move on to number 8. South Dakota Association of Rural Water Systems nominations, and found on page 30.
And we're looking for anybody that wants to be on the board.
So we're looking for anybody that wants another position.
Terry, you wanna be on the board?
I think they already asked
Yeah, you
him.
put my name on it.
You
want me
put your
to?
name in?
Yeah,
What's that?
Did you put your name in?
That's up to you guys.
I think
Well,
we
do you
should
want
put
your name in?
He's gotten awards for his
Yeah.
stuff he
I'll
does.
try it.
Yeah, I
Are
think it'd be
you
very
putting his name in,
interesting.
Shayla?
I will put it
I'm
on.
assuming we all don't get to put his
No.
name in.
I will send in the official one with his
There we
name
go.
on it.
Perfect,
Good. Thanks, Terry.
thank you.
Yes.
But we probably need to nominate him
Yep,
officially,
yep.
okay?
I'll nominate Terry Manning
And
to
I
be
will
on the
second
board.
it. I want
Can I third
Kurt
it?
to see my name on there for the nomination. Do you want me to
I'll
switch this
stand by
around?
jumping up and down.
No.
Building permits, has everybody looked at the building permits?
I think we did.
Has everybody down
Yeah,
here
yes.
looked at them?
Yes. I did.
I think, as far as I looked at them, and I think everybody signed off on them.
I'll go ahead and move to approve.
You have to do them individually, right?
Oh, do you?
No, we're
Oh, then I
fine.
have to, then I'm gonna
We can do 'em
abstain
together?
because of Titans.
Okay, yep.
Then
So we have a motion, did we get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. See if I can figure this.
Everybody signed off on them, so they're, and the money's there. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the building permits.
I think,
We got-
yep, and then I seconded it. Who moved to? Susan?
Susan.
Yeah.
And then I seconded.
Actually,
Okay, we have a motion and a
actually
second to approve the building permits. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next thing is bills, approval of the bills.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Next thing is to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion, the meeting's adjourned at 8:10.
Yeah, initial.
And I'll be on to sign all this stuff in the morning.
Down to see Aaron then?
No, we're going, not since we moved it down.
Your church is 125.
Good, good. Is that coming up the weekend?
So it must be full.
January.
So if you use any portion of 1,000, you get the church.
During the years and
At the
when-
big house?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, tomorrow.
Today we did, I don't know about tomorrow. I think tomorrow it moves around, doesn't it?
But I think all city people, don't they all go to the
I heard some had to go to Sunshine.
Yeah. Jenny.
Outside of town has to go to Sunshine.
I did, Braden did call, so he's on.
Everybody in town is
Being deployed, he said, Grandpa said, if I don't have these are just phone active right now. He said, if I can't call you, I'll call you when I get to Hawaii.
So